Hi everyone, welcome to our video on ward view. In your ward view on SystmOne, you can see your patients laid out on the ward just like real life. Your ward is configured just like how your real life ward is, and we have the number of beds and their locations similar to how your ward is currently set up. These things can be adjusted using your configuration team as well. Now if you look at my screen, I'm already on a ward. I'm on Ward 3, Internal Medicine. And I have some patients that are on some beds. If I scroll up, you can see that I've laid out this ward similarly to how Ward 3, Internal Medicine's ward is currently. So I have cubicle 1, 2, 3, and 4. I have beds in each cubicle that are numbered similarly to how they're numbered currently. And if there's a patient on a bed, you see their name and more information on them. If they're a female patient, they're in pink. A male patient, they're in blue. But how did we get here? I'll take you to that now. So I'm going to close this and show you how to get to your ward view. So you're going to go to your menu bar and you're going to go to Hospital Overview. In Hospital Overview, that's where you'll see Ward View, and you're going to do a single left click. When you do your single left click on your Ward View, you're going to get a pop-up that says Select Location. In this pop-up are all the locations in your hospital. We've divided them by department, and we've also divided them by ward. So for example, I'm going to go to the King of Spain building at the top here, and I can see that I have wards here below as well as departments. Here we have Ward 1 General Surgery. If I click on this arrow, I can actually even break it down into cubicles as well. But we're not looking for general surgery, we're looking for internal medicine. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit and I see Ward 3 Internal Medicine under Building 1. I'm going to left click on the ward and I'm going to click OK. This will launch a separate window, and that is where you'll see your ward view. So I want you to pay attention to that part. This is a separate window from your usual SystmOne window. So if you go to your taskbar, you can see if you hover over your SystmOne icon, which is the blue whale fin, there is one window that says SystmOne Acute Hospital and another window that says Ward 3 Internal Medicine. You can close out your ward view at any time and return to your home screen on SystmOne. Now let's talk about this ward more in depth. So I mentioned the cubicles and I mentioned the beds. But what you will notice is that you see some special little icons and letters on each bed. Now what do they mean? If I left click on a bed, I can see that beside the word bed 03A that I have a pair of lungs, which means oxygen facilities, and R, that means railings. So that's what these icons refer to. So if you want a patient to go onto a specific bed, you can look for those beds with those specific amenities. Now let's talk about our different bed states. So first, we have an empty bed. An example of an empty bed is this bed 19A in cubicle 5. There is no patient name on it, so it's empty. An example of a bed that has a patient on it is bed 16. You can see Rosalie Campbell, and she's in pink, so that means that she's on this bed. Okay? An example of a bed that is closed is bed 15A. 15A is closed, so it's grayed out. That means that nobody can be put on that bed. An example of a bed that is dirty is bed 15. Bed 15 has a D on it, and that indicates dirty. Now a D can be gray, it can be red, or it can be orange. And that delineates the different types of cleanings required. So a gray D is regular cleaning. An orange D is a bit more of an intense cleaning, and a red D is like you really need to clean this extremely deeply or foggy. But we'll get into how to actually set the beds to these different statuses in a bit. This is just to orient you to your ward view currently. Another thing I want to talk about is the menu on the right hand side of your screen that says General. Here you have different categories and you can filter your ward view by each of these categories. For example, in all patients, you can see that there are 3 patients on this ward currently. If you want to filter by persons who are ready for discharge, you can filter by that as well. If you want to filter by patients who have any open tasks, you can also filter by that. And things like if they're past their expected discharge date, etc., you can filter by those things as well. A filter I want to bring your attention to is the outliers. Outliers refers to patients that are on your ward, but they actually belong to a different ward or a different service. Those are considered your outliers, who can be indicated here as well. Now at the top of your ward view, you see a few buttons here. This button says select location. So from here, you can select a location and go to a different ward. I want to bring your attention to another button called Show Outliers. Show Outliers is used to see what patients belong to you on a different ward. For example, if you have the patient Sue Hudson, but you couldn't fit her on your ward, so she had to go elsewhere, you can see where she is. Another button I want to bring your attention to is the refresh button. Similar to your appointment ledger, if I make a change on the ward view on my device, it will be reflected on your device as well. However, sometimes it can take a little minute or two, so if you want to speed up the process, you can use the refresh button. And then we have the close button, which is when you want to close out your ward view, you can just select close, or you can use this X on the top right hand corner of your screen.